Hello and welcome to Sport is Female. Yes, you heard right, Sport is Female. My name is Refilwe and I'm a sports enthusiast and a broadcaster. I'm passionate about my fellow females shattering those glass ceilings. So this podcast aims to not only talk about female athletes, but to celebrate them. Sport is Female, which is a global platform, shines a light on women's sport, and it gives these females with superhuman strength a voice to not only tell their story, but to inspire the next generation of female athletes. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Sport is Female. On this episode, I'm so excited. We are going to be joined by Banyana Banyana striker Noko Matlou. And of course, we'll be joined by my fellow female sportscaster, Tholakele Mganga. We'll be talking about all women's sport. It's Women's Month and specifically Women's Day. Happy Women's Day, everyone. Happy Women's Day. So what we're doing is we're celebrating women and we're giving them a platform. Local football has returned. Yay! But we can't go to the stadiums just yet. But we can catch it on our TV screens. And for those of you who have DSTV, it was on SuperSport channel 204. Local football returned with, of course, the Nedbank Cup. And a notable game was that between Mamelodi Sundowns and Bidvest Wits. It was the Nedbank Cup semi-final. What a game. I don't know if you caught the game, but if you have an opportunity, you need to see the repeat because around it is the controversy of the shock announcement that Bidvest Wits is sold to TTM, a club in Limpopo. Now, Wits are moving to Thohoyandou at the end of this season. So when the football came back, coach Gavin Hunt promised that Wits players are not going to go down without a fight. And that's exactly what they gave us yesterday. Although they lost to Mamelodi Sundowns, the final score was 3-2. Sundowns moving on to the next part of the tournament. But Bidvest Wits fought. They fought, and I think that is quite notable and that must be mentioned. So congratulations to Bidvest Wits for fighting as hard as they did. We can't wait to watch them when the PSL returns from the 11th of August. And another thing that you need to watch out for and needs to be commended is that DSTV on SuperSport again, channel 9, so SuperSport 9, they were showing games or sports that all included women to celebrate women because, it was Women's Day. And I think that needs to be commended. It was such a great thing to see. And I hope that that will continue and that won't just happen in August every year or just on the 9th of August, but that needs to happen. We need to see these women. We need to know who they are. We need to celebrate them and we need to inspire the next generation of female athletes. My guest today has proved beyond reasonable doubt that she's the best at what she does. With over 150 caps, 64 goals, she became the first South African, both male and female, to be crowned CAF African Footballer of the Year in 2008. I am so honored to be joined by Banyana Banyana striker Noko Matlou. Noko, welcome to Sport is Female and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day. I'm so excited.
Yes, and it's on a Sunday. So, I'm here in studio talking to you, but I know if I was at home, my mom would probably be cooking a big chicken and a big Sunday lunch for me. How's your Women's Day going?
My Women's Day so far so good. I went out early in the morning with the kids. Uh, I was on the back way home so that I can be with my family.
Oh, okay. All right. No, that's good to hear. Family is important. And let's get to it. So you are nicknamed Beep Beep. Is it Beep Beep or Beep Beep?
Beep, beep.
Beep Beep. Where does that name come from?
The name come from when wherever we have a national women's team, Banyana Banyana camp,
Mm-hmm.
we were always doing the testing. The testing where they called it beep blip test. So
Okay.
every time when we do the testing, I was the last one to go out. So because I was always the last one to come out, so they called me PP because everyone will be out, then I'll be alone still running. They were like, no, you are peep peep.
Okay, but clearly you're not the last one when it comes to scoring goals. Um, Noko, you come
Yeah,
from a place called Muleji in Limpopo.
yes,
Shine, Limpopo, shine.
yes.
What
Shine, shine, shine,
shine?
Limpopo.
Yes. So, what does it mean for you to represent your hometown, not only when you're playing locally, but internationally as well?
It's an honor, especially where I come from, because I'm very proud. I'm coming from rural areas,
Mm,
place called Moleji, where there is no woman who's playing soccer. I was the only woman who was playing soccer against boys. So I
mm,
feel very privileged because the support that I got from my village, it was amazing. It was amazing. It's the support that which kept me going until where
mm.
I am today.
Mm, mm. And speaking of origins, please share with us where your love for football began.
When I still remember I was at school. I was just used to play with the boys and then
Mm,
at the primary school. Then from there I went to secondary. Then that is where I was doing the athletes. Then the
mm,
other teacher came to me was like the way you run, come and try at the soccer so that we can see you. Maybe who knows what you can offer. They were going to the Love Life Championship in Durban. So
okay.
I was there. Then finally, that is where my love for the soccer started.
Mm, okay, that is interesting, and that's good to know the Love Life games. I remember them from when I was also in high school. So I'm glad that they were
Yeah,
able to breed a star like you.
yeah. Cause they are the games that everyone we used to watch, like everyone
Mm.
at school. We that is where the young players they are coming from.
True, true. And you made your debut for South Africa for Banyana Banyana in around 2007, 2006. And since then you've played against formidable teams like Nigeria and you've achieved so much. What would you say is the biggest highlight of your career thus far?
My biggest highlight for my career is winning African Women Player of the Year in 2008 because being in the Banyana Banyana setup only a year and winning the African Women Player of the Year, it was just amazing because I know
Mm,
it was not easy to play with the stars like Portia Modise,
mm,
Veronica Pewas, and others. So it was not easy for me, but I told myself, even coach told myself, go there and enjoy, play your normal game because
mm.
when you enjoy, then the rest will come. That is what I did.
And that is so true. When you love what you do, when you enjoy what you do, it shines in your work and it's evident and people
Yeah,
see it.
yeah,
Mm. And speaking
I did.
of achievements, Banyana Banyana went to the first ever Women's World Cup last year. Congratulations on that, by the way. And I noticed as I was going through social media, that gold medalist, our very own Caster Semenya, visited the camp during the World Cup. It was so inspiring to see for her to be there. What was that like?
It was amazing because I know Casta. She's my neighborhood. She's my friend.
Okay,
Then she was
wow, I
like,
didn't know that.
she was like, no, I'm coming, but don't tell anyone. I just
Oh,
wanna
so you
surprise
knew.
everyone. Yeah, I knew that she was coming, and Casta, she's an inspiration to us and to the
Yes.
other young athletes that are coming. So we are proud of her. So when she came to visit us, we know that we're not alone. There is some of the African players that are rallying behind us. So we have to make
Mm,
use the opportunities that we got to represent the country at the FIFA World Cup. And knowing that we tried our best, that is the best moment for us because we know
mm,
even though we didn't win a game, but being there and compete with the best players in the world, I think it's
mm.
something else that no one can take it away from us.
Absolutely. No one can ever take that experience away from you. And, Caster Semenya was not the only person who was encouraging you there and being there for you guys. Back here at home, we were cheering you on and screaming at our television sets. So we're still very happy. It's an experience that no one can ever take away from us, indeed. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
we're living in very challenging COVID-19 times, with many
yeah.
events, sporting events, either being suspended or cancelled. How have you been keeping up with your mental health as well as your physical health in terms of training?
Coming to the COVID-19, it was not easy at first because we had to adapt it to the situation,
Mm,
which means it's not happening in South Africa, it's happening in the global world.
mm-hmm,
So it was not easy, but with the importance of our lives and importance of everyone, so we had to do what we have to do to stay fit.
mm,
So I think it would be indoors and the exercise that we got from national team and our coaches who are in our clubs. I think it helped us because I know some of us we have been struggling a lot, and when you're not used to live this life of COVID-19 where you have to
mm,
be alone, you have to train alone, so it was not easy. It's not easy, but
mm.
we tried our level best and sacrifice where we can sacrifice and do what we had to do, which means is to train indoors at the yard. So I think it helped us a lot.
And how has that training been going? Because if I were to come over now and say, Nuku, here's a soccer ball, let's go. We're playing a game.
Mhm.
I know that you play for my indies, and I decide there, okay, I'm going to play. Would you say you are match fit ready?
I can't say we're match fit ready because we can see even yesterday the PSL one is back. Some of
Mm,
the players were struggling. Even in Europe, players were
mm.
struggling. Some were getting injured. So it's gonna take at least maybe some few times to get there. But to play first game is not gonna be easy. I'm telling you,
Sure.
it's not gonna be
Yeah.
easy.
I absolutely agree. It's always, when you haven't been playing as much as you're training, but when you haven't been playing
Yeah,
professionally, it can be quite an adjustment.
yeah.
And in your profession, under normal circumstances, there's a lot of traveling, there's training, and as a female athlete, there are added challenges like lack of support in terms of sponsorship and sometimes in terms of fans filling up venues. What are some of the challenges you face as a female athlete?
Oh, there is a lot of challenges, especially as in women, because if you can see now, most of the European teams they are playing professional league.
Mm,
So as in South Africa, we still behind because the league that we're playing right now is not a professional league.
mm,
So I'm rallying behind. I'm appealing to cooperate, to come on board and support the women because even if they support boys, even us as women, we deserve that because we know they are not the only
absolutely.
men that are working in the corporate. There are women there that they are competing with the men. So I think even if they come and support women, I think the country in the football in South Africa it will grow even bigger.
Mm. And, it's just coming to your point about support, South Africa has a lot of raw talent that needs to be unearthed and nurtured. You coach an under 17 team in Limpopo. Tell us more about that.
Mhm. It was last year when I finished my mm, D license. Then
Okay.
they were looking for women's coach in Limpopo. So
Congratulations on your D
then I was
license.
like, no, thank you so much. Because currently, this year, I did the C license, so
Mm,
I have learned a lot. So
stunning. That's
last
great.
year, for me to coach the under 17 Limpopo provincial team, I think it was the big achievement for me, because those kids, I'm their coach. I'm their parents, because when I'm
Mm,
there, I'm their role model. When I'm there coaching them, they was like, "Oh, you are my role model." So that thing,
mm.
they were very proud. And for being there in the championship for the first time, and doing well with the team, I think I'm proud of my achievement so far.
That is so heartwarming to hear, and it is so true. When you say that you're not only a coach, but you're also a parent to them, that really warms my
Yeah.
heart, and it reminds me of a conversation that we had with Coach Desiree Ellis actually last week, and she was talking about the importance of prayer and of checking up
Yeah.
on you guys, on the players,
On
to make
everyone,
sure. So
yes,
as a parent, so she's
yes.
not only a coach, but she also
Coach,
tries to
yes.
fill in that parent role.
Yes, because like for example, coaches will come even when know we have the big problem with the COVID-19. She will always call us and check on us. How are you doing? Are you well?
Mm,
How's training? Like she's like the parents. She's like mother to us, because we know
mm,
even when we camp, we pray whenever we get a chance, whenever we get on the field, whenever we eat breakfast, lunch,
mm,
dinner, we always pray. And to show us that we're unit. When you see the player, you have to hug the player, so that that unite the spirit. That
mm.
not everyone feel lonely, so that we know that we are one team. We support each other. We're there for each other.
Absolutely. And speaking of development and flying that Limpopo flag high, you're hosting your first annual Noko Matlou soccer tournament from the 26th to the 27th of December this year. If someone is listening and they want to get involved, either by coming through or by sponsoring, how can they get involved?
They can get involved with whatever they wanna offer.
Mm,
Usually we don't need money. We need when we support the community, it's all about whatever they get, they will be proud of it. They will wear it. If it's a jersey, they know when even after the tournament, they will like, I was at the Nokomato's tournament. So
mm,
they will talk about it, because they know I'm their role model. You know, I'm appealing to any corporate who wanna come on board. They must come
mm.
on board and support me, because I'm not doing it for myself. I'm doing it for the community. I'm doing
Sure.
it for the youngsters that are coming up, that they will represent in the country in near future.
Absolutely. And speaking of support, you can rest assured that Sport is Female, myself, I'll definitely be
Hmm.
there, and I'll definitely be staying in touch with you, to see how else we can help.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And here on Sport is Female, we're all about celebrating and giving female athletes like yourself a platform. So, who are your female sporting sheroes? I hear you
I
blushing
think
there.
I think the woman who support other women and be there. I think my sporting hero, it will be Carol Manana, because
Mm,
when I see Carol Manana, obviously she's the woman. She support uh, football. She support like women's football. She always be there celebrating other women's achievements. So
mm.
she's my role model.
Ah, okay, all right. And in the same breath, today we celebrate Women's Day in South Africa. Uh, obviously on the 9th of March and sorry, the 9th of August in 1956. Women like Mamuini Mandela, Lillian Ngoyi, Ruth First, and so many more marched to the union buildings to protest the past laws. There are also women like Bokasta Semenya that we celebrate, women like you, Noko. So what
Yes,
is
yes.
your message for women on this day?
As a woman, I'm saying to other women, let's unite and be one thing and support each other. No
Mm,
matter any woman who you saw that she's struggling, don't hesitate to help her because we are women. We know the struggle. We know everything about women. The
mm,
message that I can give them that let's be there for one another. Let's support each other. Let's celebrate each other.
mm-hmm. Absolutely, Noko. Thank you so much for your time. I take your message that let's celebrate each other, let's support each other. We'll definitely be watching your career very closely, and we'll definitely be at the Noko Matlou soccer tournament. Thank you so much, and have a happy Women's Day.
Thank you so much and enjoy your Happy Women's Day and Women's Month. Let's enjoy this
Oh,
month and
yes,
celebrate other women's achievements. Yeah.
absolutely. We will do that. Thank you so much, Noko.
Thank you so much.
Joining me again is Tholakele Mganga. She is EWN's sport anchor and reporter. Tholakele, welcome back to Sport as Female and happy Women's Day.
Hey, Refilwe, thank you so much, and same to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Today we are all about celebrating and taking note of women. So let's start with the Gsport Award. This year marks the 15th edition of the longest running women's sports awards in South Africa. And I see that the sponsor of the year, Spar, has been nominated as one of the sponsors of the year.
Absolutely. And I think with them, you always look at how they've, in a sense, kind of transformed the netball team because South Africa did get to the semi-finals of the World Cup last year. They're consistently playing in the Diamond League. They're playing the likes of England, New Zealand, and Australia on a regular basis. The netball side are 5th in the rankings. So that kind of sponsorship just shows you just the backing of one sponsor, how far it can take a team, because if you invest in them, it gives them the platform of actually getting their players to be professional, for the administrators to focus on what they need to grow the sport. And I think it's between them and Cecil when it comes to football, and Telkom as well, who should also be given props for what they've done for the netball side. If you can look at those sponsors and see what they've done, and then we always have this conversation of what we need to do to grow women's sports. Look at them, use their examples. Just give people the money. They know what they need it for. They know what to use it for. And they can get the right resources and the right structures in place in order to grow all the sports that they need to.
Absolutely. And when we move on to other sectors within the awards, is the women in television. It's a tough one because I've seen nominees such as Andy Mahamba, Mutsidisi Muhono, and Natalie Jamanos. All these women, so they're giants, all respected in their respective fields. I think this one's going to be quite a tough one.
Absolutely. And you look at them because they're in male-dominated industries. Just looking at me, you see, she's worked so hard within the rugby structures where she's gone from being pitch side to now anchoring, whether it be Rugby World Cup finals or it be Super Rugby finals. She's really put in the hard work. She's become the face. We always speak about representation, and she's become the face that we've grown to know and trust when it comes to rugby in the sport. Natalie Jamanas, I guess you can say she's one of the pioneers with the likes of Kes Naidu, who started the Gsport Awards, where we're so used to hearing her voice when there's cricket in South Africa. And that's how it should be, where we aren't going, oh my goodness, where's this person and this person? It should become natural that you've got all these diverse voices giving us information, because ultimately she's not a woman who covers cricket. She's just a cricket reporter like the rest of us.
Yeah, yeah. And it's amazing to see, and it's, like you said, that Mutsidisi has basically become the face of rugby. When you think Mutsidisi Mohonu, you think automatically rugby. When you think Natalie Germanos, you think cricket. So strides are being made, we're happy, and we celebrate that. Moving on to another category, I see Babalwa, excuse me, Women's Springboks captain has been named in 3 categories: Athlete of the Year, Women of the Year, and Global Women in Sport. That is quite impressive.
Yeah, and it's not really a surprise when you look at, I know it's hard to imagine that there was life before COVID, but you look at the years that she's had, where she went from ensuring that the Springbok women qualify for the next World Cup and then securing a to Spain. She's really put in hard work in a sport, especially on the women's side of rugby. We don't see a lot of representation. We don't see the team given as big of a platform as the Springboks are. For her, she's really done well, where she's really pushed the sport forward, and she's been involved with it for such a long time, where she's even gotten to the point where she is captain. On top of that, she has to balance her studies as well. So can you imagine how much effort she has to go through to actually keep this dream alive? Because I think the one thing we've got to realize with a lot of these female athletes, where it's not such a straight path in order to become the top at your game. You don't get involved in an academy and then eventually become the best player in the side. A lot of them have to get the education in order to balance out the effort that they're trying to put on the pitch. And she's someone that's shown that she can handle all of that and still be the best in both departments.
Absolutely. And, I was having a conversation with Vuyon Dudani on Instagram earlier, and we were talking about the importance of investing in yourself and investing in your career. And what you just said there about Babalwa and studying. So she's studying and she's a Springboks captain. It's really admirable. And I know that she studied at the University of the Western Cape, and she graduated and got her law degree. So power, absolute power to her.
Yeah, and we look at, especially on the women's side, a lot of them do have that education, and in a sense, they help us, because once they do retire from the sport, it's very rare that we ever hear of the female athletes struggling because they don't have X amount of money available to them anymore, which is on the men's side that maybe we should be looking at, because women are so underfunded and underrepresented. They actually have to make it work for themselves. And by the time they retire, it's easier for them to go into the working world, and it's not so overwhelming, as opposed to the male counterparts who kind of struggle with the realities of a 9-to-5, of having all of these luxuries taken away from you and having to earn every little cent that you make.
I cannot add anything there because that is so true, what you just said there. I see Banyana Banyana's Refilwe and Rhoda Mulaudzi were both nominated for the Global Women in Sport.
Yeah, that I think we look at the strides the Banyana players have made, not even after last year's World Cup, but I think since 2016. We've seen so many of them secure European moves. Tembi Khatlane, I think she's probably like the biggest face to secure the moves, going from Houston Dash, and now she's at IBA. She's also played for Benfica. We look at Captain Janine van Wyk, who went from Houston Dash, unfortunately had a failed spell in Denmark, but now is going to Scotland, where she's going to play for Glasgow City, who are the champions of that league. You've got Rhoda Mulaudzi, an experienced and a veteran striker within that Banyana side. She's seen it and done it all, and now she's going to the Belarusian league with Dynamo Minsk. So you see the kind of talents that's within the side, and you cannot look past the captain, Refilwe. You speak about AC Milan being European giants. We've got our biggest star playing her trade for them. We see how well she's doing. She's so integral to that side. We always see on social media how much love and support she gets from her teammates. And she's so protected within that we as South African football fans get to reap the rewards of that. Because the more European talents we have out there, the more players that we have playing in those leagues, it can only benefit us. Yes, we've qualified for our first World Cup, and unfortunately we didn't get past the group stages, but the more of our players that are playing head to head with the best talents in the world, the easier it is for them once they get to those big stages where they're not overwhelmed by playing against maybe an American side with professional leagues, because even though in South Africa we don't have those leagues yet, they are playing in those leagues where they see how things are done and they're bringing it back, and it's benefiting us in the long run.
And I see you have already jumped to my next topic, Tholakele, of Banyana Banyana, a growing list of Banyana Banyana players securing contracts with overseas clubs. 2020, I feel, has been such a landmark year for women's football. Like you've mentioned, the likes of Refilwe, Rhoda Mlaudzi, Janine van Wyk, Amanda Mthandi, Lebogang Ramalepe. Like, it's such a growing number. You blink and this one is being signed, that one is being signed. And I absolutely agree with what you're saying. It can only benefit us. Earlier, we were talking to Noko Matlou, Banyana Banyana striker, and she was talking about some of the challenges that they face as female athletes, that, because we don't have a professional league yet. Yes, a league was formed last year, but it's not as professional as it should be. So having the likes of these players securing these overseas deals can only benefit us. It can only help us when we play internationally.
Because they also bring it back because especially you look at Janine, for an example, because she's got her JVW Girls Academy, where she's going out into Europe, she's seeing how things are done. And as someone that has her own academy, she can bring that back and say, okay, girls, at Glasgow City, this is how they do things. So from now on, when we train, we're going to do things. And when you speak about so many of our players moving to Europe, I remember speaking to Janine before she had left. She had made mention of the fact that SAFA have said that SA Women's Soccer League is only going to resume at level 1 lockdown. We have no idea when that will be. So that's also a frustration for a lot of the ladies that are involved in the sport, because already you're not earning a full living from doing this job, and now all of a sudden your career is being put on pause. So because of those reasons, they're going, you know what, if I can help myself get scouted by a big side, if I can get my name out there, if I can go, whether it's 6 months or a year, to go play in Europe and actually give myself that experience, ensure that I'm earning that steady paycheck, that's exactly what they're doing. And like you said, it can only help us in the future, because we also don't know when Banyana Banyana games are going to restart. We've already seen the African Women's Championship postponed for this year. The next thing on the calendar is in 2022 for AFCON. So that gives the ladies roughly 2 years to prepare. But also, we don't know, with CAF having already removed the international window for October and September. So we don't know when football is going to come back within the continent, when qualifiers are going to happen. We've got the CAF Champions League kind of scheduled in, but there's no details about how it's going to work, because it's going to be impossible for a South African side in Mamelodi Sundowns women to go up to Egypt and play those teams. So how are the qualifiers for that going to happen? So I think because there is so much uncertainty as a result of COVID, the players have realized that they've got to put themselves first, because ultimately that will trickle down into benefiting the national team.
And well done to all the women who are playing overseas. It's inspiring to watch. Hopefully it inspires the next generation of Banyana Banyana players. It also hopefully inspires possible sponsors to get involved. So, we are super excited for them and excited to see what will come. And finally, Netball South Africa has confirmed plans to stage an international series this year, despite the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. The Spar Proteas have been out of action since January this year. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work. I don't know. They need to get competitive again. And, judging from some of the social media accounts from some of our players, like Izet Griso, where I've seen that they train indoors and they have a bit of a program going on where, they keep them up to date with the training. They haven't been playing professionally, and that's going to be a challenge.
It will be, but I think the one thing that all other sporting codes can take is from football across the world resuming and how they're resuming it in bio bubbles. And we're seeing how with the PSL, we've also got that. So they're thinking of innovative ways where, unfortunately for the players and their families, they're going to be away from each other for quite a stretch of time. But for the players, it's important for them to be playing. Because I remember us having a press conference with President Cecilia Molokwane, where she spoke about if they cannot take the risk of not playing this year because they've got sponsors that are expecting them to produce. Yeah. And if a year goes by and I'm not getting a return on my investment in you, next year I'm going to say to you, but I can't pay you because you didn't do anything for me the previous year. And that's going to stretch their budget for whatever plans that they do have. So she had spoken, in fact, about the Telkom League resuming. They were also trying to get the Diamond Series underway. They do realize that they've got to pick whatever province that will host the bio bubble environment carefully. At the time, they were hoping to either do it in Cape Town or Gauteng. At the time, Cape Town was the epicenter and Gauteng was their preferred option. So now it'd be interesting to see if they do kind of take the risk of, like the PSL have done, of asking Gauteng to come up with venues to host the matches, because they do want to get those games underway. They've got the momentum in terms of having won the African Netball Cup, in terms of having reached the semifinals of the World Cup. Absolutely. But now here we are, like the Momentum Proteas, where, okay, we're on a high, but what's next? They can't afford to lose that momentum. They can't afford to have players have a year sit out, because for that year that they sit out on, it's another 12 months where they have to build their match fitness in order to prepare themselves. And next thing you know, you blink and it's the 2023 World Cup. Yeah. And we're all a year behind the likes of Australia and New Zealand, who of course are already playing matches.
Let's hope that government and all the stakeholders can come together and, like you said, hopefully they can come to an agreement as to how and when the rest of sport can continue. Tholakele, I want to say thank you so much for joining us once more on Sport is Female. A very happy Women's Day to you, and happy Women's Day to all my queens out there who are, like you said last week, taking up space.
Thank you, Refilwe, and may we continue to shake the table.
Oh yeah, listen, we're not here for the crumbs. We're here for the whole table. Not here for the seat, but we are here for the whole table. Alrighty, and we come to my favorite section where I get to sort of interact with you guys. We asked a question on our social media last week based on the FA Cup final that was between Arsenal and Chelsea. Now, Arsenal won the FA Cup again. And we asked how many times has Arsenal been crowned FA Cup champions? And the answer to that is it's 14. FA Cup champions 14 times. Congratulations to Arsenal, and we hope they can win other silverware. Nonetheless, congratulations to Arsenal. Now, this week, I ask you, in the spirit of Women's Month, who is your favorite athlete? Who's your favorite female athlete? And why? Don't forget to use those hashtags, #SportIsFemale. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook @SportIsFemale. Alrighty, and now for the shout outs. Shout out. We are growing in leaps and bounds, and I am so grateful. You have made Sport is Female your other home, and I'm super grateful for that. And for this week, I really want to give a big shout out to Zulu Goddess on Instagram and to Renee_Taylor. Thank you so much for continuing to watch our Instagram lives, to like, to comment, and really for your support. We really appreciate it. We wouldn't be Sport is Female without your support. Thank you very much. In the spirit of Women's Month, once again, it was Women's Day. I still say happy Women's Day. It's Women's Day every day. Make it every day, you know. On Instagram, I spoke to fellow sportscaster Vuyo Ndudani, and we spoke about our favorite female athletes. And she also mentioned something very important, the importance of investing in yourself. In whatever career you're in or whatever it is you're doing, the importance of growing yourself, of investing in yourself. Let's say, for example, you are a rugby player and you're playing rugby, but what about the future? So the future is education. It's so important. And I think today's society is actually trying to underrate the importance of education, because what we see on social media is the highlight reel. People have made it, they've got cars, or well, however you define success, whether it's cars or looking good or whatever it is. And it's through, they'll tell you, oh, I started a business 5 years ago. Look at me now. I'm a tenderpreneur. I started 2 years ago. Look at me now. What about education? You know, what about skills development? It is so important, and I urge you, my females, shattering those glass ceilings, that if we are going to continue to take up space, if we want not just the crumbs and not just the seat at the table, but if you want that entire table, you know we have to work twice as hard. And it's because of gender inequality. It's there. But you know what? I say we challenge it by continuously investing in ourselves, by supporting each other, by celebrating each other and promoting each other. So we can't just do that if there's nothing to back that support. I can't call you #BlackGirlMagic if there is no magic. That magic comes from you working hard and investing in yourself. So to that I say, happy Women's Month. Happy Women's Day, because it's Women's Day every day. And I say that I hope that one day, when we bridge this gender inequality, we no longer refer to it as the Women's World Cup or women soccer players or women cricket players, women rugby players, but we just call them players. We just call them athletes. That's when I will know that we have reached gender equality. Thank you so much for listening to Sport is Female. Don't forget to follow us on our website, www.sportisfemale.com. Search for us on YouTube, Sport is Female. Don't forget to comment, like, and share. Use those hashtags, Sport is Female.